All right, first up, let's look at the Kansas City Chiefs, uh, who just got embarrassed in the Super Bowl. Spent the offseason revitalizing that offensive line and drafted some offensive line help as well in the draft. Their first pick was 58 overall in the second round, picked up Nick Bolton, linebacker. To me, cool. I don't think the Chiefs really need this is all depth to me. I don't think Nick Bolton's going to be a starter in any way right now. So I like what they did to add depth. They also picked up a center from Oklahoma in the second round. Again, add depth to that offensive line that you just spent so much money on in free agency, and you saw what happened in the Super Bowl with your two tackles out on injury. You need to have some depth. So I like what they did overall. I give them a B overall in their draft just because they didn't get any stellar players, but they kind of didn't need to, and it was all about depth. That's how I view their draft.
Yeah, I totally gave them an A plus, and I'm kind of I'm including the Orlando Brown trade in this, right? Because
Fair
the
enough.
Chiefs traded their first round pick along with some extra capital, I believe next year's first round too, in order to bring the left tackle from Baltimore. Orlando Brown isn't just like like a solid a left tackle. Like when the Texans spent so much draft capital to bring in I can't even think of his name.
Tunsil,
Um,
Laramie.
yeah, Laramie Tunsil. It's like, okay, solid, really good left tackle, but is not gonna be this all pro. Orlando Brown's that guy, like a
Yeah.
top five easily, probably top three left tackle in the NFL, right? And he stays healthy. Tremendous player. And frankly, I think for a Baltimore side note, I think it makes sense because I don't think that you need the way that Lamar Jackson plays. I think that you don't necessarily need to invest that much salary cap in the left tackle when you look at the entire offensive line and what you need
Yep.
out of that. I thought that's what we saw without Marshall Yanda last year. So the fact that the Chiefs were able to bring in that left tackle, I actually really liked the Nick Bolton pick. I think especially in the Super Bowl when you
Hmm.
saw what Devin White and Levante David were able to do from a coverage standpoint at linebacker. I think the Chiefs said, look, we have a solid secondary. We have a good a defensive line, but our linebackers are not athletic enough to be able to compete. Getting a guy in free agency like Kyle Long to come back out, and then adding depth with that with the center, one of the best centers in the entire
Hmm.
draft in the third round as well. I just think that they overhauled they and the Chargers overhauled their offensive lines, and I think that not just on paper, but I think that they're much better, much more complete than what they were ahead of time. And when I look at the Chiefs, like, yeah, maybe you lose a guy like Sammy Watkins, but when you're able to stabilize that front side, that's far more important
Yeah.
to the success of that offense, right?
Yeah. Um, Two things. The center was in the second round as well.
Mm,
That's so better pick for them. Uh, Free agents and trades like that being a part of the draft, but for this in this case, like it really is their first round pick
yeah,
for that. Like they gave up, like they probably were going to go tackle or at least offensive lineman in the first round, and they just said, you know what, let's just get someone who's already like really great. So it makes sense, and yeah, it does. This draft is specifically contingent off what they did with Orlando Brown and bringing him in. So I still give it a B for just the draft, but it definitely
yeah.
is. It's because of that one trade for sure.
Well, and real quick too, thinking back to that Laramie Tunsil trade, that one keeps on just getting worse and worse, right? When you think about the fact that the Miami had a top five pick last year and then a top 10 pick this year, because Houston
Yeah,
has just not lived up to what those expectations were. But for the Chiefs' perspective, I totally buy, and I think that those first round picks that the Ravens will get will probably be maybe even in the 30s, like not high end first round picks.
yeah, it's a great trade for the Chiefs. All right, so you gave him an A plus, and I gave him a B right there.